Pass Left draft. So here today for a bit of a special episode where we are going to be looking back at the drafts we've done this year, all the different draft formats that we've had, and we're going to rank them in a top 10 because that's what you do around this time of year, isn't it? I want to start off by giving everybody who's been watching me across this year a really big thanks. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for watching all the videos we've put out. Thanks for the feedback. Especially thanks to all those who've clicked the subscribe button down there. It's been a blast. I've loved finding my own place. I've loved working with others to make some videos and interacting with the creator community as a whole. So can't thank you enough. I do have a very small giveaway halfway through this video, which you'll see when it comes up to it for one lucky viewer. So just a little thank you that I might start doing a little bit more in future. So thanks again for everything that's going on. Anyway, into the top 10. And well, I suppose before we get there, as is the case usually, we have a couple of honourable mentions, and I think these are all very reasonable honourable mentions for this top 10. First of all, I want to give an honourable mention to the MTGO cubes, and the main reason they're here is because I didn't really play enough of them to get a good idea of how good they were, and I'm not sure how much other people have played them as well. I know they've obviously got a lot of good following, and you know the vintage cube especially has some really good following. I've dipped my toe into it for the first time this year, and you know it's something I will be playing a little bit more in the future. Another honourable mention is for Jumpstart, and Jumpstart is a great limited format. It's amazing for beginners. It's got some good fun and interesting new fun cards, especially for Historic on Arena, but it's not really a draftable set, so I decided to leave that one out as well. I did have a very good fun time in the pub with some friends playing some Jumpstart over when they came out later on in the autumn, but you know, not a draft set, so we're not including it here. Finally, got to give myself a shout out to the Pass Left Draft Commons and Uncommons Cube. I have had some real good fun here, but it's not an official set. You can see the video up top at the minute if you want to have a look at the video we put together to introduce that, and also there'll be a link to it in the description down below. Anyway, that's enough for introductions and honourable mentions. I really want to find out what's going to be in our top 10, and every single one of these sets is really good. Don't think that the number 10 is what I think of a bad draft. They're all amazing. We've had some cracking sets this year, and I really can't wait to have a look over them in a bit of a review. At number 10 is a draft set which I think is rightful to go in number 10, and I don't think there'll be too much disagreement on this point. It was a fun draft set. As I said, there's no bad drafts in this top 10. In fact, I don't think there's been any bad draft sets across the whole year, but it was a set which maybe was known for being a bit too much on the aggro, and of course it is Core 2021. And this was a set which, like I say, aggro was definitely the main thing that was going on. You could draft some other things. There's some really sweet Reanimator stuff going on in there as well, but it was totally dominated by the aggro decks, and you know it really showed, and that kind of made the repeatability not where it could be. So although, like I say, great draft set, had some fun with it, had some success with it, which you know makes me enjoy it a bit more. I think it's not going to be a sticker in there. It's not going to be something that we'll look back with absolute fondness, and you know it served its place. It was a good draft set for the summer. You know, ending of the standard cycle, but definitely number 10 on this list. Number 9, on the other hand, is a set which I think I might get a little bit of stick for. You know, some people might not quite agree that it was deserves such a low place on the list. And like I said, like I've already said, it's not saying it's a bad draft set, but compared to everything else we've had this year, it was definitely at the number 9 place. And the controversial choice is Zendikar Rising, which I know was a lot of people, possibly some people's number 1 draft format of the year. But for me, it didn't quite get there. It was fun draft at first. I think the party mechanic was really fun, but the colour imbalances were really there. You know, the green was really bad. The green-black, green-white decks weren't seen to be very good. Red-green wasn't seen to be very good either. And that was one side of things which didn't make it quite stick for me. Another reason is that, you know, you could find yourself a lane that's really open, but you didn't quite get those key commons and uncommons. So, you know, you could be finding that black-white is definitely really open. You get some alright clerics cards coming through, but that Cleric of Life Bond is never opened, whereas in another draft you might just open 3 and have an absolute stellar deck. And I think the other sets have had a bit more redundancy in that situation. You know, you could just draft some really good commons, like the red-black deck in this could with the party. You know, that had the stuff at common, but you know, you could find it. You've made all the right decisions, but you just weren't past those key cards that you needed for the draft for that archetype. and that's where it fell down for me. Also, because there was a reduced number of colours which were really draftable, green wasn't undraftable. It wasn't quite back to the last Zendikar block where it was, unplayable colour almost. But because, you'd cut out so many archetypes from what you could play, then the repeatability wasn't there either. And I think that, again with Core 2021, it runs the same thing, that, we like sets which we can replay and like sets that we want to play again. So, like I say, controversial choice. I get it if you disagree. Give your reasons below in the comments if you do disagree. I'd love to hear it. And, I think there's definitely discussion to be had around this top 10. It's very much my top 10, but that's where I put it. Number 8, we've got the first non-standard set, and it was one which I did really enjoy. I think it could have been a little bit better, and it's Ammon Remastered. And the way I see this, it's definitely an improvement on Ammon. Ammon wasn't bad, but it had the same issues that Core 2021 had, where aggro was really the main focus. But I don't think it was quite as good as Hour of Devastation, which was one of my favourite draft sets of all time. And I think it's just because I've got some good memories of playing it more than anything else. So it's definitely between those two, and it's not a bad place to be. I think they made some real improvements over Ammon, but maybe still a little bit too fast. There were some great green-based decks that you could splash 4 colours or something like that, pick up all the rares that you needed and have some good fun there. But, I just think overall it was not exactly as good as it could have been. Just going for a bit more of the Hour of Devastation cards and a bit fewer Ammon cards would have probably balanced it a little bit better. But it was still really good fun. It was good, a little bit of nostalgia of the Ammon block. It's a lot of people's favourite block. And, can't complain at that whatsoever. So number 8, we have Ammon Remastered. Number 7 is another standard set, and I think this is one that was plagued a little bit by being the last draft set that didn't have human drafts on Arena, and of course it is Theros Beyond Death. And Theros Beyond Death, it was a good fun draft format. On Arena, black was really open and you could kind of force black in the bot drafts a little bit too much, but I think that's just a little bit of a symptom of being able to abuse the bots and not having the player drafts on Arena. It was one of the few sets that managed to draft a decent amount in paper, and I think the paper drafts seem to be a lot better. And the couple of times when I've played the Premier drafts when I've came to Arena, I've enjoyed playing at that as well. On that note as well, however, we do have a very, very, very small giveaway. I get it, it's not the hugest giveaway in the world, but it was something that I got, and I do have a code for a pack of Ammon Remastered, or not Ammon Remastered, of Theros Beyond Death on Arena. So one lucky viewer will be able to redeem that for a single path. Lucrative, I know. But, I'll hopefully get a few more of these codes in the future and be able to hand them out. That's number 7, Theros Beyond Death. We're going to be going into a few more sets in a second. But again, I just want to thank everybody for all the support this year and all the feedback to the videos. I really think we've found a place, and I'm looking forward to creating some stuff in 2021. Number 6, not quite halfway, and we're going for the final standard set of the year. Of course, it's a Courier Lair of Behemoths. It was a really interesting draft set. They threw a lot of things in there. There was a lot of complex things. Of course, Cyclone was the boogeyman of the format, but sometimes it is quite good to have a boogeyman. Sometimes it's nice to be able to beat that deck. Yes, it was definitely too powerful. Yes, Zenith Flare possibly shouldn't have been uncommon, but it's what was there, and it's definitely a memorable set for a lot of people. So the Courier Behemoths, it was definitely an experimental set, and all of the next sets, bear in mind this is the last standard set, are going to be experimental in some kind of way, newish types of formats, newish types of drafts, and they've definitely stuck in my head. And going into the top 5, it's important to point out that I think that the standard sets are maybe in the bottom half, all concentrated in the bottom half of this list, because I've drafted them so much, and we do a lot of drafts on Arena for the standard sets, and maybe that's just taking away a little bit of the shine, whereas the top 5, will all be sets which maybe haven't drafted as much, and maybe that's why I want to draft them a bit more. That's why I want a bit more time with these sets. So definitely something to bear in mind, but again, I think that is part of the balance of draft sets. Maybe it's just that I've overdrafted some of these standard ones, and maybe in future I'll have to bear that in mind in the lists. Number 5 is a little bit of a cheat if I'm totally honest, because I've technically not drafted this yet. I've played sealed in it, and I've had some really good fun with the guys over at Draft Chaff podcast. We've had a little bit of a Commander Sealed tournament on there, because of course it is Commander Legends. And like I say, I've not drafted this yet. I have heard that it's quite slow on Magic Online, and I think it will be one of those sets that's unfortunate that I haven't been able to draft us as much in paper. And I really am looking forward to being able to draft this in paper with friends, with a couple of drinks, with a bit, nice bit of social gathering when we're able to do that. But until then, got to do with the webcam thing, maybe do some Magic Online drafts if it comes back on again. But, I think it was a really interesting draft format. Doing the Commander draft was really cool, and there's some really good themes running throughout. Building around a single commander, kind of looking out for that nice commander which fits the colour pair that you want or something like that. And it was very much different type of draft. So Commander Legends starting off the top 5 here. At number 4, we have the set in the top 5, which I've definitely drafted the most by a long way, probably as much as the rest combined. And it is another remastered set in Kaladesh Remastered. And I think it was a really, really good way of redoing the Kaladesh block. I think they picked out all the best parts of it, and everything seemed balanced. All the colour pairs seemed playable. It was quite nice to be able to splash every now and again as well. There were some really fun decks in there. You could go hyper aggro if you wanted, and that did quite well. But you could also battle the aggro decks, and I think it really, really balanced out quite nicely. So Kaladesh Remastered, the better of the two remastered sets. I think it was a huge improvement on either Kaladesh or Aether Revolt. Taking that pain train was the perfect thing to do it. But, I love Blue White Wick Blink as an archetype. I think it's one of my favourite archetypes, and it's not really been done since Kaladesh since Kaladesh and Aether Revolt, and it was really good to see that again. But energy and playing with energy, and seeing how it works and getting the payoffs on the generators was just amazing. And it's a draft format unlike any other. So I drafted this a ton. I had some really good success with it, and definitely deserves a place in the top half of this list. And I, if it was still on, I'd still be playing it right now. Starting off the top 3 is a draft, or should we say maybe 2 drafts, because it is Double Masters, and it was another experimental draft format. It was a bit different again, obviously a newish kind of master set where we get 2 rares in every pack, and you take 2 picks out your first pack, and really experimenting with this theme. But it was really fun. I think the artifact synergies were really interesting to play around, and play around them in different ways. You had the sacrifice, you had the artifacts matter, you had all these different things going on, and it was really interesting. I managed to draft it a couple of times on Magic Online. I even got one draft in on paper. It was really good fun. Having the Tron lands there at common was amazing. It was something that I've never been able to draft before, because I've only been playing the past 5 years or so, but really, really enjoyed it. I think there was a lot of things going on there, and it was a really, really interesting synergistic draft format that I would love to be able to revisit again. And I do have some boxes to play with friends again when I'm allowed. So number 3, Double Masters, rightfully so as well. Coming in penultimate place, it is a set which isn't a paper set. It was only on Arena, and it is the Arena Cube. And we've just seen this go away. It was great fun. I think the newer version of it was the best version yet. I think, there was lots of synergies in there. There was lots of just raw power. And playing at best of 3 was an amazing experience. So much better than best of 1. And it was really, really enjoyable. I know I've chatted with some friends, and we all agree it was a really, really fun format. Even if you weren't kind of winning, it was good. Being a Phantom draft, it meant that there was a low-ish buy-in. Maybe could be reduced a little bit with the smaller prizes, so you can draft that a little bit more. But it was a great experience. It was showcasing everything that's on Arena now, the power that's coming from there, and as we go on, the Cube can probably only get better. So definitely deserves a second place in the Arena Cube. Can you think what's going to come first? Because, there's not many sets left. We've got all the standard sets. So as we go into this little cut, have a think what could be number 1. Okay, here we are, first place. And have you guessed what it is yet? Can you think of any other sets which might be even around? Or, is everything gone? And it's one from near the start of the year. It was definitely another experimental draft set. And it was definitely very much a draft set that, was designed to be drafted. Have you solved the mystery yet? I know, it's cheesy, but here we are, Mystery Booster. And, you know, I even had to check myself when I was looking at this. It doesn't really sound like it's a set name, you know, Arena Cube, Dual Mastered, Zendikar Rising, these all seem like draft names. But Mystery Booster just sounds like it's a special booster, but it was definitely a draft set. And it was really good fun, huge card pool, massive variation in themes, but you know, the synergies were all there. You had really good cards synergized together, you had some really good limited bombs, you had some amazing reprints, and it was a fun experience. I managed to draft it in paper 3 or 4 times, I think, and you know, loved every single one, and I can't wait to draft a little bit more again in the future. It's a shame that it wasn't really available elsewhere, but hopefully it'll be coming out again. Hopefully we'll get something similar, or even just a total reprint coming out in 2021, and I'd love to see this again soon. So to finish off, again, thanks for all the support this year. I've really enjoyed it. Looking forward to 2021. We'll be doing a kind of first impressions of the Kaldheim, when we get the initial spoiler of the mechanics and things that are going on there. We'll be looking at kind of what we expect the draft format to look like. I'll be doing another video on the combat tricks that you can play in there, all the instant speed tricks that you can look forward to, so you can really prepare yourself for the pre-release and release events and the first draft, so you can have that edge there. And you know, we'll be looking at what is going to make the format fun, and also all these other draft formats that might be coming up over 2021. We've got a Return to Time Spiral, I believe, coming up, which will be really exciting, and that's just hinting that we're going to have an amazing selection of drafts again in 2021. Wizards have absolutely been knocking it out of the park with the fun draft formats over the past few years, not just 2020, before that as well, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to bring to the table in the next couple of years. So thanks again for watching the video. Thanks again for all the support throughout this year. I'm looking forward to creating some more content in the following year, and I can't wait to see you again in 2021. Have a good new year, and bye for now.